Okay. All right. So something I pulled up that you have an assignment coming up.
Yeah.
That is your piano studio brochure. I can put this little, it's my creativeshop.com/piano studio brochure. You can get free templates. I'm not expecting an incredible, like, and then you can submit a digital form. You don't need to pay to print this high quality paper. But I want you to, like, I did, I should bring in some of the things I had. In my, starting again, so I had a studio in Owatonna, and then my husband took an assistant pastorate job out in Minnesota, more northern than where we were, so I had to reestablish. And so for a year, I commuted and I still taught all of my students. An hour and 10 minutes, so kind of a lot to do. But I thought I wanted to make a really strong appeal in the new community. So I actually met with the Chamber of Commerce and said, I'm going to open a piano studio. And they interviewed me and they put an article in the Woodbury paper. I went to some of the Woodbury Chamber of Commerce and just presented some of my materials and a little bit about myself. And then they did actually a ribbon cutting for the start of where the mayor and the Miss Woodbury, and I wasn't sure what to expect. I kind of thought it would be kind of a low-key thing because I did it at my home, of course, and I had like food and fun things. Come on in. So I'm talking about when I started out, because you have your piano studio brochure that you're going to be creating. And I was just showing them. All I'm thinking is you're going to have your studio policy things. Some of them you're going to include, and it's not all. Don't give your, like, if a late check or any of that stuff. No, but kind of like just cliff notes of who you are as a teacher, where you're located. And obviously, this is eventually going to change. I mean, I'm not thinking they're going to be phase students forever. But when I started, so I went to the Chamber of Commerce. I paid the money to become, and I also purchased a booth at the Family Expo. Come on in. So that's okay. So I thought to myself, who is my target audience? This is a little more marketing, but this is a big part of being a piano teacher. Who are my target audience, do you think, as a piano teacher?
Parents.
Parents. Who's going to take their children and family to a family expo? Parents. Who's going to pay for the lessons? Parents. Who's going to decide what teacher they choose? Parents. I mean, the children will also have some input as well. However, so I thought, okay, this is costing me like $200. But I know I'm going to meet tons of families. And I wanted to make I wanted to close my studio in Owatonna, and I wanted to have enough students to replace them, boom, right away. So I ended up creating, I'll find them, they're somewhere. I made, if they signed up and registered for lessons that day and committed to a lesson time, I gave them a free month of lessons. It was a little card. So I think I had 6 families that committed to doing lessons. And here we are, mid-July. Do you think that was really reassuring for me? That I'm not going to have to commute back to Owatonna to continue my old studio an hour and 10 minutes away. And do you think it's fun to have a studio with 5 students? As much fun as it would be with 20. You think the recital is a little more enjoyable when you have 20 than 5? Now, with Faith Music Academy, I'm planning on having combined recitals, so it's not like you're going to have just your 3 kids. It'll be a bunch. And I'm hoping to have a gospel shared at the end, much like our Pastoral Carols and such. Anyway, the did that family expo, I had some videos of me teaching, and I had recordings of me playing, and I dressed up, met families, and gave them cards, business cards, answered questions, shared availability, and it was extremely profitable for me. Some of the kids that I got, I think of Kelly, the Paul Kuehl family. 2 of their girls took lessons with me. Another family read the article that the Chamber of Commerce put in the paper, and they thought, wow, she lives right in our neck of the woods. And then I got a family from that. So it was just right away, I had, starting out, with 12 brand new students from that event. So yes, I did spend $200. How quickly did I pay that off? Probably really quickly. So I was, for your piano studio brochure, if you're a really artistic soul, that should be showcased in that. So I'm not saying that you need to be a marketing guru, but does your the way that you dress, today I'm dressed so casually. I wouldn't wear it, I don't like being this way for teaching, but the way that you present yourself in all of yours, so I had professional cards. I also had a giant banner, and I also had magnets on my car that had Discovery Piano Studio. I still have them on my freezer home. That's for me a closed chapter, but it was just a wonderful experience of, did I do the expo the next year? No, because I already had word of mouth, and I already had all the students that I wanted. I was really good with that. And then by that time, you've earned some rapport with the other teachers in your community, and so they give you referrals as well. But as you're starting out, it's sometimes helpful to do things like that. So be creative. So I did a ribbon cutting, and I had about 150 guests. It's free to that. It was an open house. I'm so glad that my husband overdid the food. He has some catering experiences. But the mayor was there. It was just way beyond what I thought. And it was a free service because I had participated in the chamber. And because I was part of the chamber, I get a discount on the booth. So it was just kind of at least for that, I didn't choose to renew my chamber association the next year because I just didn't need it. And also didn't have time to attend the meetings either. So that's something that is, you may want to think about. And have you observed the board members at all that have been on campus? How do you know that they're board members?
They're not
Super professional. They carry themselves in a very poised, can men be elegant? I think so. There's a sense of classiness with them, and I think piano teachers should embody that classiness, and I don't feel very classy today. But in general, really putting a really professional, would you trust a daycare lady that's still in her pajamas as much as someone she's looking great, ready for the day, her home is all set in order? Would you feel better about that? Mm-hmm. I sure would. That she's actually ready for them, that she has a plan to be successful. You're smiling.
No, I'm just because when you first said that you dressed up, my first thought was like Halloween dressed up. And so I was picturing you dressed like as a piano keyboard or something like that. And then about 5 seconds later, my brain caught up.
Oh no, you look cold.
I'm still laughing at that.
I do have for little kids little wigs and fun things that I do with her composer of the month is Beethoven, and so I do silly things, but not for you guys. Traditionally, I don't. Okay. So, if you have questions about doing your studio brochure, I hope that you get it. You're getting the sense. I have for you to give back a bunch of stuff. Here's my stack of things I need to laminate. And if you have other ideas of games that you want me to laminate that are going to go into our music resource lab, your Uno cards are in there to be laminated. I finally figured out how to get them your print and color.
Hey.
So they look fantastic. Well, look, these are going to go into the music resources lab. So it's things I've found, and you'll be finding things, and I'd love you to start creating this library of great things to do. And I have your projects to return to you. I thought I had it all right here. Apparently not. So yeah, I posted that on Canvas so you can see. Anyway, did you see your grades in there? Where is my little big picture stuff?
The one thing in there got folded over. I don't know if you
Here?
the one flyer or whatever they say.
Oh, this. Yes. I sent something to you all about this. This is cool and it's free to you guys. So experiment with it, see if you like it. It may not be your thing. I think having a visible calendar for your other panel families is nice. It's really, really nice. And just make some of that early on setup a little less stressful. Logan.
I don't know if I got one. Was that like the first day that
Oh, no. I sent an email with a link that you get free. You followed that,
Yes.
and it worked well. Did you try it? Did you see it yet? Well, I'm certain that you got an email, and you can just follow the link, and then you'll have it there. So very cool. A great resource for you. I'm not sure if I ate your homework or what.
One of your dogs.
No, I didn't even bring it home. Okay, it's here, underneath my other stuff. So, okay. If you're not signed up to get catalogs, I like to have these in my waiting rooms. Obviously, with teaching here, I don't really have a waiting room. But it's fun I love when parents are purchasing their kids other books. And this usually guides them of, what level to choose. So I knew I had given time to be ready. So anyhow, when you leave, I have them for you. Everyone is getting great grades because I really want you to get these projects started and then revise as you go along. I know that you're not going to charge the same rate for the rest of your life. You're not going to have the same address. You may not have the same phone number. So all of my magnets have my old phone number from 651. So they're calling some stranger for piano lessons. And that's why I'm not going to drive around with my magnets. I was backed up to a park. I had a banner attached to my fence with a phone number. And I had occasionally people would call from that. It was beautiful and it matched all of my business cards and all of my other things. They all matched. I'm not saying matching it, but you create a brand. If you've done any marketing research, I wanted an association that, that's that. Oh, I've heard her. I know, well, I might have a friend that's taking lessons. So get a good positive vibe going and then keep moving. So Frances Clark, Allison, you're reading the book that she wrote. This is from her. Teach the student first, the music second, and the piano third. So what do you think she means by that? Just a moment. It's Friday, and you're wishing for the weekend to start right now?
if you start with the technical stuff with the piano, the student will probably maybe not learn as well if you don't, unless you start with like teaching them how the music is going. Is that what it's saying?
And go ahead.
Is it maybe, I mean, looking at that from a Christian perspective, I think teach the student first. You want to build a relationship with them. You want to teach them. You want to make a lasting life
Mhm.
impact on
Mhm.
them,
Mhm.
and then you want to impact them with music, and then the piano is kind of the last thing you're focusing on, because they might not stay with the piano the whole life, but you want to teach them, musical principles, teach them how to be a musician, and then.
Great news. MTNA is calling about our collegiate chapter just now. So I gave us a name because I had to in order to get things moving forward. We are FBMTNA-SC, which represents student chapter. So pretty much like Central College would be CCMTNA-SC. So it's not that thrilling name, but there's like a template you follow. I now have an email address that is just set up for that. All that you need to know is that now the Iowa Music Teachers Association, they know and they will welcome you at all their events. And you can send students to all of their events. So also you can participate in the national conference. If you volunteer for, I think it's 6 hours, you can go free. So I think we have very own Allison that's from that area. It's going to be hosted on the Magnificent Mile. So, I mean, I know it's not super.
Which town is it in?
In Chicago.
Oh, okay.
And I know that that's a commute. Is that like 45?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. And that's an ideal traffic, which in Chicago
Don't
is.
go in rush hour. You'll be sitting there for 2 hours.
Yeah. And we're smart, so we wouldn't do that. Okay. So it's in March. I'll try and give you more details as that unfolds. I left him a message and now he's getting back to me. But it's moving forward. I've been in contact with our local people as well as the national people, and everything's moving forward. So the 100 points that I put as doing that, things are moving ahead. Your piece is done, and now I'll let you know as I have more information. So anyway, yes, ma'am.
Do we need to go like online and change, like move, like add ourselves to part of the?
Because
Oh.
when we signed up for membership, there's like a place you could select like what
Oh,
chapter, I think.
I'm
There's something
waiting
along those
to
lines.
officially get that launched from MTNI side. So on the Iowa side, we're good. On the setup side, we're good. On the official side of MTNA, we still have a hoop to go. And so I will keep you informed as that comes. So teach the student first, the music second, and then the piano. Usually we come to music thinking, oh, wow, that method book looks so fun. Oh, I just am so excited about studying theory out of that book. That just looks so fun. We come because music is inspiring. It can express both positive and negative feelings, and it's far better than punching someone to play a song on the piano or something like that. For a creative person, it's an outlet for creativity. It can be collaborative. So there's so many different reasons someone might be choosing it. So I've been tempted in my own teaching to be too driven by the method and feel like propelled that I have to keep progressing them in the lesson, and that's just not so. And does every child grow and learn at a different rate and style? One child may just think, oh, please write in my book, put stickers all over the place, and the other child might be really not so fond of that. Most children want a prize that's immediate, or I had that Matisse that wanted wood practice for 6 months and get a Mall of America trip. So making sure that I'm not making my entire studio, well, this is what works for Sally and Sue, and so therefore, Matisse, you have to be motivated by these techniques. No, be sensitive, be mindful. And when you focus on the student, when you are getting to know your student, you'll notice they have unique strengths and weaknesses. And a good teacher can encourage those strengths and then also lift up the weakness. all the while making them still feel that this is a positive experience. Have you ever felt your weaknesses were exploited? Was that an enjoyable experience? No. So we want to be very, very aware of that. So if you have a great student with a great ear and they're struggling with reading, give them a ear training thing to do to kind of buoy their spirit again. So the method is a good tool in the teacher's hand. This is my own thoughts. The teacher is the carpenter. Okay, we're making a custom home, not a slab home. Okay, kids aren't like that. I have 4 daughters. They couldn't be more different, each one of them. I mean, it almost is like, oh my goodness, how do I parent you? Well, this one child, my method was fantastic and it worked. It's not working so well with you. So be patient. Modified or eclectic approaches to reading. Sequencing the lesson from day 1. Have you guys thought a lot about lesson plans, sequencing, and scaffolding, and all of that stuff? A little bit? Not a lot? Somewhat. Go ahead,
I mean,
Anna.
I've had to do that.
You've had to do
some
that
of
for
the classes,
methods and
but-
materials, probably. Talk about that. So what is scaffolding? What does that mean? I know what it means for construction. I need some scaffolding to paint my entryway. What is it? You know what it is.
I don't even know what it is in carpentry.
Okay, so Allison's giving me this dead stare.
A temporary framework to support where you need to go.
Perfect. That was really a brilliant definition. A temporary structure to get you to where you want to go. So you have a child that comes to you and they're little and they're fascinated with princesses or unicorns. I'm going to use this ridiculous piece about, or I'm going to let them invent their own princess song. It's a story with music. And they'll tell me the story. They'll come back. The first lesson I have with like a little girl is she's going to bring back a princess story. And I show her ideas of what you can do. So I might link a video of me trying this. They love to create things. And they're getting to experience loud, soft, low, high. And even like, and then the birdie comes. I've seen the cutest, funniest stories. And then the brother is like just so funny. But they're experiencing, and they're going to take away from that lesson. That was so fun. And then, what do you need to practice? Oh, I need to do this. So you have like this momentum of positive memories instead of, she was so neat. She told me, you know, this long list of stuff I have to do. So all of that to say, for all of you, you're gonna have different methods you'll use and try, and I recommend kind of experiencing not just one but several. But you'll notice that there'll be strengths and weaknesses to each method, and you're going to be really sensitive to what do I need to incorporate with this student that they may need more of. If they love Disney, get a Disney book. I have some in that stack back there. These are all like supplementary things. You have a child that's just mesmerized with music theory, form, classical music. This is like chock full. Now, if you have someone that's really into pictures and colors, they're going to be like, where's the pictures? It tells them about music history. It tells them about form, music theory. It's just a synthesis. That's a Canadian Royal Conservatory. So be a little eclectic, okay? Don't just get into your 4 books and all you ever do is these 4 books. Make sure you are adding new stuff in. Watch and pay attention if they are seeming to really be disengaged and not as, maybe they used to be more interested and now they're not. Try and reconnect with them with a good piece. You'll start to learn pieces that are like every one of Martha Mears or every one of Dennis Alexander's are just really beautiful. Or I know this student loves minor songs, and there's this whole book of minor modes. Yeah, Marianne Sanders, our very own Marianne Sanders. Okay, so in the age of technology, there are so many advantages. I saw in your studio policy that a lot of you said that you make a lesson with Skype or Zoom or do some kind of remote lesson. I think that they're as a good substitute. I've even toyed around with doing some lessons like that here. There's pros and cons, for sure. I would sure rather take lessons with Dr. Laquana via Skype just because it's an hour and 40 minutes to drive. And then have an hour lesson, and then you have another hour and 40 minutes.
That's what I'm doing right now with my composition
Oh,
lessons.
with Mr. Lonsborough?
You don't want to drive the whole way?
No, not all the way to Michigan. I could stop by home. No,
That's
that would be
cool.
part of it.
That's really neat.
Yeah, I had my first one.
Was it fun?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm super nervous, but it'll be really good.
All nerves aren't bad. We should take things seriously, and I think that not all nerves are bad. So modern methods. There on my phone, I have Sabers, I have Bastions, I have Alfred has tons. I'm running out of space on my phone for things. So it is really handy when you have the board, kiddo, to quickly, okay, I will allow you to record audio. Oh my goodness, so needy. Okay, the IPS, that's Bastions, and you have some samples from Bastion that they gave you. They have a very old version of Bastion books, and then they've updated them more recently. I went to school with Bridget, and she was a granddaughter of Jane Bastion. That's very cool. She's married now, so her name has changed. That was kind of cool. Anyway, you can get online resources really easily. You can watch the audios. You can get viewing of the authors and co-authors teaching the music. So you get like a front row seat. Would you enjoy being able to interview the author if you were trying to make a presentation on their material? Would that be handy? If you get to chat with Brahms about your piece, would that be kind of nice? So you get that when you utilize those. And do you think the kids love when you incorporate technology? They're used to that. My kids at school have Chromebooks, and they're really good at it. It's amazing. So I've even thought of having a place where the students could do music theory while they are playing like games and stuff. Call it like a theory petting zoo. Maybe, I don't know. Lots of ideas. Some are good, some or instrument pet zoo too. I think we could vary what we do. We could have highlight a different thing every month. Maybe it would be a composer petting zoo, instrument petting zoo, so on. Oh, you're just enjoying all of my ideas. Okay, there's lots of value in that, and I think that on my iPad I have Piano Maestro. I just love that. It's an orchestrated flow key. There's also Alexis, which you can play with orchestral things. So you can play the piano part and there's an accompaniment orchestra. If I paid memberships for all the things, I'd be really poor. But you can get free versions of all of those. And usually that's okay. Once I had like 30 students in my studio, I paid the money for Piano Maestro to have full access, so nothing was unlocked. So every single song, they had Christmas, they had classical, they had folk, they had hymns, they had theory, they had so much, and it was all orchestrated. And it would give me feedback. If they played it well, it got a 98% on rhythm, notes, and everything, it would automatically take their photo and send it to their parent, and a recording of them playing. So it was, for me, well worth it, because like parents are getting to see, hey, my child is like really grown this semester. Look at that. So I do think that those have some value. Yes.
That might be the sort of thing too. If there's a particular program that
Yeah.
one family really enjoys, you could say, hey, why don't, to the parents, hey, why don't you consider getting this for your kids? And then it's not your responsibility.
Yeah. But another thing you can consider, you can take do some market research, know your community. If your community is extremely affluent, would they rather have to buy the right app on their own, or be charged a studio fee that covers that? I'm just going to tell you, if you have multiple kids and you have a job responsibility, I mean, you're kind of in mode of like, let's feed the kids dinner, make sure they do their homework, practice their instrument, and go to bed. You're not really thinking of shopping for, what app did she say again? Like, because you don't want to waste $20 on the wrong app. If you buy it and it's actually, so I kind of think going the route of, in the right community. When I was in rural Owatonna, I did not do that. I did not charge a studio fee. But in Woodbury, Minnesota, which is a very similar climate to Ankeny, I did. And they were much happier with that than, and that also covers the recital fees. So all the refreshments that I do, they pay one fee, and that covers books, materials, and recital fees, all in one. So they're not really writing checks a lot. Because that's another thing that some families, I just prefer not to have to worry about. They don't want to be irresponsible, but it's sometimes you forget that you didn't pay yet. So this is the, because I'm not going to pull it up on my phone where you can't barely see it. I do like the Favors app. Tons of stuff on there. I think I prefer using it on my iPad than this tiny screen. You all have that flyer. I think I gave it to you. Did I? I think so. Maybe I didn't. So you can play with audio, and it will investigate how you did, and lots of interactive tools that you can use. I try not to let technology be more than 5 minutes of a 30-minute lesson. Is what I try to kind of target. So, and I usually put it at the end. I say, if we have an awesome lesson, especially if they like technology, we're going to get the piano maestro out. But if it's been not so great, you have to do music too. And they're like, okay, I'll be really good. So that usually worked really well. And so I almost never had to remove piano maestro as a reward for a great lesson. And then when the parents are walking in, what are they seeing? Their kid having a ton of fun. And they leave on a note of joy. And in the case where the student didn't get to do it, mom said, oh, is it not so great today? A little squirrely, but it rained today. So I bet you they just didn't get to go outside for recess. So have some with itness. If it's been raining, they're going to be wild. Super wild. Okay? Snowstorm, super wild. Anything, even a full moon today. There's, just be aware that there might be stuff. Oh, how did I get to there? Oh no, fiddlesticks and nonsense. Okay, all right. So you have your studio policy done. Check. You have your studio brochure ideas all in your head. Check. No, I'm kidding. I know that you probably just breathing a sigh after
You
getting
just
the
need to
policy.
bring one.
You can just submit that online. You do not have to print a version of that. Just submit one online.
Okay.
I don't want you, because ideally you're going to get high gloss, nice paper that's going to be in color. That's going to cost you not a lot of money, but money, and I really don't want you to worry about that. Tenera, you can do a 30-day trial. It's a cool app as well. Music Stack is kind of a similar idea. There's just more musical experiences with this one. I watched a short demonstration. We already kind of walked through the book report, right? you've got that. You're starting to read. You're not hating the book you have. Not yet. Okay. Hopefully, I tried to suggest ones that were going to be. Now, we're not going to talk a ton about the older beginner, okay? But something that I want you to be brainstorming. I made you reflect on your preliminary summary about your own experience. When you were 11, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, that's really what I'm thinking, 10 to 14. This is an older beginner child. I guess I said 9 to 14, 10 to 14, 9 to 14. It depends on the child. I have an old soul and I have a young soul. It's easier to parent the young soul. The joys and challenges. What are some of the challenges you face at that age?
They might not want to do it as much. It depends, because it might be something that they're older, so they really do want to do it, or it might be they're older and they're like, I have to start at the beginning. I don't want to do things.
And in a recital, they might feel bad that they're a beginner. There are things you can do as the teacher to combat that. I always, with my older beginner, we always do a teacher-student duet. Always. I would say 90% of my recitals, especially with my little ones, all the way up to really 2D, we always did duets. I wanted their first experiences in recitals to always be super positive. And then I'd be sitting there and just get to make sure that they're, because sometimes they're so nervous they don't remember where to put their hands. We've all been there. Your brain kind of goes like out the window somewhere on a vacation. So bringing them back to a space that they feel safe. And they're used to being with you every week. So I have always done that. And if things don't go so well, I can cover for it. And then I can just show them where to go and then okay. And I always tell them, remember, do any of your parents have music out there? And I never require memory for the little ones, ever. I usually do memory experimenting first in a lesson. And if they, for a month, have been able to play by memory securely with very little trouble, then I will say you can play by memory. But unless they've had it in a secure way for at least a month, I recommend to them to play with music. And I don't require anybody to perform. Is how I've chosen to do it. So, what were you guys like as an 11-year-old, 12-year-old, 13-year-old? Were you confident?
I was just starting, so.
Just starting, okay. Did you start when you were how old again?
10.
10. So very much a kid still.
Yeah.
But you're not the cute, adorable, want to play a princess story, right? No.
Yeah.
Like a Mario.
I was more into like.
With boys, I did Mario Brothers. Like, let's create up a video game song. You create a video game song for your favorite video game. And you're gonna try and create it on your piano. The song that you like. And that they did great with that. So with boys, I have 3 brothers, so I know that they like sports, and so I have sports flashcards, football ones, soccer ones, Valentine ones. There's more kind flip-flop ones. Trying to trick them that this is a new thing. No, it's not really, but that creativity, they appreciate that, the variety. If you get an iced coffee that's pumpkin, is that more fun than when you've been having vanilla or caramel for a long time? For me, it is.
I don't like pumpkin.
Okay, you don't like pumpkin. Variety is the spice of life. It's still an iced coffee, right? But I chose a new, to just be inventive, creative, all of those things. For me, when I was in middle school, I so badly wanted to fit in and be cool and be kind of not nerdy, not okay. And in my perception, most of the musicians I knew were pretty nerdy. And I was thinking, I don't want to turn out like that. Okay, don't take any offense to it. But it was a reality that I was facing. And I was like, okay, well, it took me a while to evaluate if those are my gifts, though. I need to just be okay with that. And who cares if the whole world is good at lacrosse and I'm good at the piano or music? It took me a while to come to that courage to embrace that. So I'm thankful for teachers that allowed me a little bit of freedom to explore some music that was like ridiculous, like My Heart Will Go On or Young and the Restless. Like I never watched the soap opera, I just like the music. But I had a little bit of, and she said, you know what, if you enjoy, I loved playing hymns and choruses, and I enjoyed that. She allowed me that freedom to do that. And when I finally embraced, like, hey, I really love this, and I don't care. If the whole world hates it, I love it, I don't care. I finally came to that right around like 14. But there was like 2 to 3 years I really just was like, maybe I want to be cool more so than be a musician. And we don't want to write that person off. I'm so thankful that people didn't, you know what I mean, they continued to allow me to pursue, even though I wasn't quite serious yet. Does that make sense? Yes, Anna.
Wouldn't that be really hard? I know we just talked about how sometimes it's hard to participate in recitals, but I feel like that's also a really important time to maybe participate in recitals, because then you can see, especially if you have students who are maybe slightly older, like junior high school students that are more skilled, that's a good time for them to see that and that would be really important to encourage your more mature students to encourage your younger students. I remember the first time I had, like, my first friend who was an actual musician who was, you know, played classical music like I did and was, you know, impressed when I did an offertory at church, who was someone my age that was actually like, whoa, I really like that. You know, that was really encouraging, because a lot of the other kids in my youth group at church just didn't care at all. It was like, never got any recognition from my peers. And I remember the first time, and that was big.
There are lots of ideas of how you can help students in this time. Some of my friends, in talking to them, they have, they divide all of their students to A, B, C, and I have to go very soon. But our schedule B is in place, so ignore those little notifications. I'm very, very thankful. They divide them into A, B, C, and D groups, and then they masterclass to each other and perform for one another, do music theory games together, do some ensemble things together, and create some community in your. So if you have, let's say I have multiple students in this age group, bundle them together. It's okay if they're at different levels. It does create that some camaraderie. But what I want to tell you is, do not be elitist in that you only, maybe you only want to take serious students, but hopefully you have room in your studio for multiple interests. Because not everyone's going to be a hardcore classical beast, okay, that's going to play full-on sonatas and concertos, and that's okay. I think if they go and piano will always be an outlet of fun for them for a lifetime. Do you think that has value? I think it does. So make sure that we'll talk more about the older beginner, but reflect on your own things. Like Anna had shared some of her own things that was really effective. You guys have shared a little bit too, but a lot of empathy and kindness, and also be very creative with the materials you incorporate. It's really important in those years, okay? So, lots of food for thought. Faber does have a method for the older beginner, not for an adult, but for an older beginner. I have used it. And on the graph, if they go through book 1 and book 2 for the accelerated beginner, they go right into 3A after that. So it's kind of a cool resource too. All right, well, I'm going to dismiss you. All right. I hope I did that right. Oh, well, if I didn't, I think I did.